It is your boy. I'm here. I've got the Hawaiian tucked in to reveal the slightly more slimmer presentation. Although with my with my mustache like this, I look nuts. I look crazy. I could be like Kurt Russell's forgotten kid that he had with an Irish woman, right? Hi guys. It has been a while since I've made a proper video, or even a video. Let's not get crazy and call this a proper video. All right, it's been a while since I've made a video with this camera. How about that? I'm looking at myself. I'm checking out. Um, I think I was sick for a day, but I'm too stupid to tell. I'm the type of person that when I feel sick, I ignore it, and so then you're not sick. I plan to do this with everything that ever happens to me, ever. And I suggest you do the same. How have I been? Oh, you know what? I should check. I'm gonna keep this rolling because fuck off. That's why. Okay, I'm gonna check, make sure I had memory left on my computer for this. Um, this mustache is an act of rebellion. I do plan on shaving it within the next 2 hours. I can't actually go outside with this kind of mustache because where I live, it's actually kind of normal. It just makes you. Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. Where I live, it's not normal. Where I work often, it is a sort of moniker for a certain kind of person that I think should be um, delimbed and put into like a cube where their brain is used to sort data until they inevitably expire. They're fed, glucose through a tube. So I'm gonna shave the mustache. My videos have been increasingly brief as time has gone on, and that's because I've a few things. On the one hand, I have been busy. I have been working endlessly, and I have been extraordinarily tired and stressed. I've been tired because I sleep very poorly lately. Um, a lot of it has to do with my cat. I know that sounds ridiculous, but my cat endlessly meows when I go to bed because I go to bed at like 6 a.m. Not because I'm like up late fucking around. And my cat is like, that's when he goes, "Hey man, why are you doing this?" And it's been a month and he still does it every day. But also, I just sleep poorly in general, so it's not really all the cat's fault. I can't ignore him, but I can't ignore him. I really am almost incapable of ignoring my own cat. Um, what I've been doing basically is I've put every part of my existence in the back burner since my wife uh, was diagnosed with thyroid cancer and then got her thyroid removed. She will be in China for another month. There are a lot of things there to unpack, which I will not be doing. Everything will be okay in the end. Uh, I am utilizing this time to the best of my ability, or at least I'd like to think I am. I have been losing weight. I have not weighed myself, but if I had to guess, I'm well below where I was before. Fitting into clothing I haven't worn in a very long time. The reason I haven't weighed myself, the reason I haven't posted lifting videos, that's because time. But the reason I haven't weighed myself really, a lot of it comes down to, a lot of it comes down to wanting to put weight loss in its entirety sort of on an autopilot so it's almost like a back burner thing. I uh i eat 1600 calories a day and I don't think about it. Nothing. I think about nothing else. I eat 1600 calories a day and no other things are ever going through my mind. When I lift, will I lift? When I make a video, will I make a video? What I'll eat, why I'll eat it. I make sure I have 1600 calories each day, often prepared beforehand. I eat a few different protein supplement type things, whether it's a protein bar, protein shakes, jerky, something like that. And then I generally have a meal of chicken, rice, broccoli, or some other kind of high protein, low carb mixture. That is all I do. I do not have cheat days. I do not eat or do anything else because that is what I want to do right now. That's what I've got the bandwidth and capacity to do. Um, I suppose there is a great deal of time that I am wasting that I could use better. But my cat just snuck in, so he must have walked past here if you watch the tape back. But one thing at a time. I feel like I'm turning certain parts of myself online one thing at a time. That's what I feel like. I feel like I needed to hone this in because I was losing grasp a little bit about a month ago. I was kind of losing my grasp on the weight loss thing. I had reintroduced alcohol into my life after about 6 months. Um, Started new work. Cora was gone, my wife. Cora was gone, and it was a perfect storm. I drank a couple times. Nothing crazy. And also it's not a big deal if I do drink. It just fucks up your ability to do other things, as I've said before. Drinking really only propagates more drinking. It makes everything you intend to do later harder. So it's just not beneficial to anything really, unless you really need it for social lubricant, which I don't. That's the other issue with drinking is like generally if I'm drinking, I'm like I don't want to drink with the people I'm drinking with unless it's my brother, and that's usually who I do drink with. Um, I so I've been very focused on just getting the things I have to get done each day done, and then hitting 1,600 calories and going to bed. Um, and it has kind of put life in a sort of like, look at all this goo. It has kind of put life in a sort of super speed mode. And I've obviously almost, for all intents and purposes, I've effectively abandoned the channel. I was going like sharply upward and then I just tanked it. But I do what I'm able to do in any given moment. And I could always do better. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm doing my best because I'm not, but I am doing what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. That's what I tell the police. Like, you're not doing very good things. I'm going, oh, yeah, but I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, I'd like to, of course, turn things around here. And I'd like to tell you that I'm going to find the appropriate pace and style in order to make myself more interested in doing this adequately. And I'd like to think that I will. I can't promise anything, but I think things are moving in that direction. I think if they weren't going to, I wouldn't still be making these videos, right? I would have just one day been like, one of those days where I was holding the camera like this, I would have been like, fuck this, what am I doing? I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Um, for those of you that have been following or using me as a sort of help or motivation in terms of just a representation of stability or consistency when it comes to weight loss or anything else, I apologize if I have kind of abandoned you in a way. I have been losing weight, and I hope you have been too. I have stopped checking in and stopped talking about it, but that's not for any particular reason other than the fact that I just don't want to. Um, but I will. I really will. I really do want to show things off, show what I'm doing. But there was a time. Don't get me wrong. There was about 3 weeks where I was real sloppy in there. Probably eating triple my caloric limit, drinking often. So I got a little sloppy there, and I needed to really, minimize. Sometimes you need to minimize everything that passes in front of your face in order to get a grasp of what you want and what you need to do. And I was floating, I was untethered. It became pretty easy to stop drinking when I found out my wife had thyroid cancer. Fortunately, I am not someone that um, stress does bad things when it comes to a stress that is immediate. Okay, so if there's a fire, I don't drink to deal with the fire. I put out I become extremely focused on putting out the fire and nothing else. Um, Generally, when I do bad things, it is way down the line. Passively, I'm not thinking about it. I'm dealing with like the aftershock of something, and I'm totally passive in my own misbehavior. Still guilty and responsible, but I'm not a reactive person, is what I'm saying. I'm not someone that the shit hits the fan and I blow up. I generally actually am someone that clings to order when I feel really shocked by something. So I'll cling to my routine. I'll cling to undereating. I'll cling to working. I'll cling to those things to keep me solid. Especially something like this that requires maybe not my attention. It's not a goddamn thing I could do about this, but I could at the very least, try to perform as well as possible as a, partner, a husband, work, keep things tidy, try to imagine things getting better. Other than that, there's not a goddamn thing I can do. Um, and So that's what I'm doing. I'm using what little power I have to control what I do have, which is myself. Um, I am very tired of being physically overweight, and I am very tired of feeling the way I often feel about myself. Um, and I have been extremely focused on remedying those things, and it has been working. I started listening to music again, which is its own thing. I used to listen to music quite often, but only when I did things, only when I drove, wrote, walked, lifted weights. Never like idly. I don't idly listen to music. It actually annoys the fuck out of me. Like to sit and listen to music is very annoying to me. I need to be coupling the music with something. But I stopped doing that for a long time because the idea of listening to music and like feeling like the energy of it, and it made me sick of myself because it felt like a lie. Just the good feeling felt like its own absurdity. Because whenever I listen to music, there's a clip, a montage of like better things occurring in my mind in relation to the music, and I couldn't handle it. But I started listening to music again. That's got to be a good sign. Um, and overall, I've been incredibly productive in terms of improving my environment, the things around me, myself. But there's still a lot to be done. It's like one of the pillars or two of the pillars is standing strong. It's like work is strong, my diet is strong, and now I need to get physical exercise. I need to get my writing back on track, and I need to start studying a little bit more again. And it's like if I have those lined up, then you've got quite a bridge. You could walk over any problem, any gap. But it's very hard to have all those plates spinning at the same time. Willpower is very limited, and it gets difficult. So I've been giving it all in one direction, and sometimes that's what you need to do. Sometimes you need to blitzkrieg, one thing. You need to go. You know what? I'm gonna fucking point all my guns at this one thing, and that's all I can do. Sometimes that's the method. I don't think it's a lasting method, and I think it has to be utilized sparingly. You need to know how to live a full life without collapsing in one area over the other. But sometimes it's all you can do. So that's what I've been up to. And I do get upset when I think about videos and I think about YouTube and I think about, well, maybe you could have done more. Maybe you could have, blown up, more and more and more and more and more endlessly. People like you. People like the way you speak. They like what you have to say. You have a lot to say about a lot of things. Could you organize those thoughts? Can you present them in a manageable way? Um, and those thoughts are still in my mind, but I just haven't done it. And I'd like to get there. Hopefully, I will. I can't tell you I will, but hopefully, I will. Look at my cat's giant ass. Um, but I am doing well. Everything within my control is going exquisitely. The minds of others, the hearts of others, the sicknesses and illnesses of others. God only knows what's going on with that. But everything I can control is going well. Now I just need to start writing again. Writing the way I should. It's not that I don't write. It's that I write. It doesn't matter. The writing I'm doing now, it's fake. And I need to start making these videos again and just be more measured in the what little free time I have because that's kind of where the soul is. Otherwise, I'm just running in place, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what happens. If I don't improve these things, I just don't care what happens to me. Nothing. I don't want to get better at anything else. I don't want to do anything else. So then, what's the point? Um, Thank you once again. I'm gonna leave it at that today. Tomorrow, I'm not gonna lie, probably gonna be another shitty one. I am going to be working tomorrow from the moment I wake up until the moment I close my eyes. So we'll see how that goes. I will talk to you then, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope you stick with me. And we are losing 80 pounds, and soon we'll find out how far along we are. I don't even remember where I started. I know in December of last year I was 230 something. I know when I started these videos I was like 219, 218, 217, 220, in that range. I'm going to guess I'm closer to 200 pounds. 205, 206, 207. I don't know. But anyway, enjoy the mustache. Enjoy what is my hair in a ponytail, but where the sides are coming down. I mean, I don't know what I look like. I don't think anything has ever looked like this. I have nothing to compare myself to. It's unprecedented.